so powerful.
Internets, you tuned into the Combat Jack Show, the combatjackshow.com. Like I told y'all before, go to themidroll.com/survey/jack. Fill out that survey, man. Fucks with our advertisers, and our advertisers will fucks with you. Yo, we got a special episode lined up for you today. Like I already told you when we went to the break, you know, that we got the West in the building.
Yeah.
We got the West in the building.
What up?
We got Nipsey Hussle in the building.
Yeah, what's happening, man? Thank y'all for having me.
Thank you for coming. And also, we got a monster. We got a monster in the building.
Big homie.
It's not Frankenstein. We're not talking the mummy or we got the monster in the building. We got Karen Civil in the building.
Hi.
What's up, Karen?
I'm good.
It's good to see you.
Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Yo, you don't stop.
I know you can't though.
You don't stop,
I know
Karen.
You can't. I learned from Diddy.
You just been going.
Can't stop, won't stop. Yeah.
And going and going and now like y'all are colliding.
Yeah.
This man right here, Nipsey.
Yeah.
They proclaimed you dead in August.
Yeah, they tried to.
They threw dirt on the coffin in August.
Yeah, they did. You know, I mean,
how'd you crawl out of that hole, man?
I mean, I think it just say something about, like, you know, what type of era we in.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like they expect you to, like, you know, show up every couple months, and that's cool for some artists, but I'm fighting a different battle. You know what I'm saying?
Now, internets, what I'm referring to is, you know, the famed kind of like spat that went on a couple of months ago with Nipsey and Complex. Complex did this. You know, they did their list, and I guess they were looking for things, and they looked at artists that weren't fulfilling their potential.
Yeah, exactly.
And you were listed, and you took umbrage to that, man.
I mean, actually, at first, you know, it was just some amongst my immediates that I pointed out.
Right.
And,
how'd you find out about that shit, man?
Man, like, you know, Twitter for sure.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It was adding me with the article.
You was like, hold up, what'd I do?
Yeah, like, huh? And then my fans were like, Nip, did you see this shit? They got you fucked up. Woo, woo. You know, but I read it, and then I didn't say nothing about it. You know, everybody's entitled to their opinion. But after we dropped the latest project, Crenshaw, Complex reached back out. And via email, like, we love to interview you. We've been day one supporters. We big fans. And I just was like,
that
you know.
shit was hilarious.
Yeah, man. You know, I took the opportunity to just talk some shit and point out some, like, what I consider to be some typical industry shit,
Right.
you know.
Now, hold up, though. Before you decided to talk to them, you said that you wanted to get at least 10 stacks?
Yeah, I emailed them, like, suck my dick. Give me 10.
Did you do that?
And I replied to everybody.
Right.
I made sure the whole company got it. And I was just like, you know, stop faking. You know, y'all want to interview us 10,000 or suck my dick. So I was for sure that I had canceled my Complex relationship forever.
Well, you know, at the end of the day, man, the beautiful thing about this game, I mean, it's real fake and it's real fucked up. But at the end of the day, if you're doing what you're supposed to do, even if that relationship is dead, they're going to fuck with you.
No question. And then, not to cut you off, but, you know.
Well, I keep cutting you off, so.
Nah, we talking, though.
All right.
But, you know, Karen had hit me and was just like, Nip, you know, I fuck with Mark. That's a good friend of mine. He's a cool dude. You know, he's not.
Talking about Mark Echo?
Yes,
Yeah.
Mark Echo.
Yes.
And she was just like, you know, you should let me, you know, do some damage repair.
Right.
And I was like, well, I'm not finna retract my statement or none of that. She like, nah, just talk
10
about
stacks.
It. Yeah, you know, for sure. But I wasn't. She was just like, well, just talk. Like, you know, they're gonna give you a platform to express why you feel like you feel. Just talk about it. And that's what the interview was, you know. And in hindsight, I think that was the best move because a lot of people got to understand my philosophy, and then we mended a relationship, and I got to meet Mark, and he ended up being a real, genuine, solid individual.
You know, it's kind of interesting. We had Mark Echo in here about 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And he gave us a very in-depth interview, and what I found was like he's a real artist.
Absolutely.
Like he's a real the way if I could take my eyes and put them in his head, I would imagine he sees things creatively.
Absolutely.
And you know, and the complex beast that he's created is that beast.
Absolutely.
So you know, at the end of the day, you create this entity, but it doesn't always necessarily share your direct vision.
Yeah, you know that's kind of the conversation I had with Mark about Nipsey. Even beforehand, he was like doing different interviews and stuff for his book Unlabel Me.
Right.
And he was talking about Nipsey. He was using, you know, the whole Crenshaw project as examples. So I knew like when this situation happened and I'm working with Mark on like my Always Civil business stuff for his book, I was like, we can't have this. I'm working with Nipsey. I'm working with Mark, and Mark, you know, I know him and Mark would get along, and it just only made sense, and it worked out fine. Like Nipsey gave a great interview to his name was Angel to the writer, and maybe about 2-3 weeks later, we went up there later. He got to meet Angel, and it was good.
Right.
I mean, you know, yeah, it was a good situation.
And it's like a fairy tale story now, because now you come out like you wasn't the underdog, but then you got kind of placed in this underdog situation.
Yeah.
You fucking jump out the gate.
Yeah.
And put a mixtape out.
Yeah.
For free.
Yeah.
With physical copies.
Crazy intro right
for
here.
$100. Like, for real, my nigga. What was you smoking, dude?
Nah.
Well, come on, my dude.
Nah, honestly, bro, like, you know, I always had the utmost confidence in my skill set and just what I represent, you know what I'm saying, and what I represent to my city, to my coast, to hip hop. You know, I always believed in that fully, like, unquestionably.
Right.
Like, this ain't no fad, it's not a gimmick. You know, I respect the culture. I'm sure the culture respect me. So I never felt like I was, you know, on a time restraint, like I had to do something by a certain time or else I was going to be out of here.
Right.
I ain't feel like it was that. I always just felt like, you know, I wanted to make my best moves and represent myself the best way I could. So the time span between my last project and Crenshaw was just me trying to.
How long was that?
About a year and a half, 2 years
okay,
almost.
Hey, can you turn the air up a little bit, man? Sorry, brother.
You know, so I just was like, you know, I knew I was on the brink of like taking my creativity to the next level. Right. I was getting to a place in myself, like my life was becoming a little bit more stable. Right. You know what I'm saying? And I just knew that I had the opportunity to do something big, and I just wanted to play the field and see what the best situation was. And it ended up being just staying independent and dropping the music outside of, you know, all the labels, all the deals that was being offered. But in that time, I think a lot of people was like, oh, it's too late. Right. You know, you waited too long. You know what I'm saying? You should have done this.
Which is crazy, because you mad young. And you know what I'm saying? It's not like you've been in the game that long.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I've been in, I got my first, like, national look in, like, 2009. Right. Hustle in the House, when that came on MTV. Right. You know, so it's been a while. It's been like 4 years. But at the same time, you know, I was 21 when I came in the game, you know what I'm saying? And I was ahead of a lot of people because I didn't have no cosign. Nobody brought me in the game. I ain't had no big singer or nobody on my hook. Right. That was me all the way through on my solo tip. Right. And I was talking about my neighborhood. Mm-hmm. And that's untraditional in, like, the era I came from. Right. You didn't get a lot of that. You was more so getting these, you know, new age type of angles these artists was taking, which is cool. Not to knock nothing for nobody, but I came in on some street shit, you know what I'm saying, from L.A., and
which we hadn't heard in a while, like not on a national level, like how you brought it in.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you know, we never heard it come outside of Dre.
Right, exactly.
It never happened like that outside of Dr. Dre.
Exactly.
It was always through Dre or through you know, one of the people that created the
Dre
platform.
ushered that in, and unless Dre touched it, cats wasn't really fucking with it across the board.
Absolutely.
Now I read that one of the, like, this is what impressed me about you, man, is that during your hiatus, man, you were saying that you was reading a lot of books. And
Absolutely.
you read this one particular book by John Berger called Contagious.
Yeah, Jonah Berger,
Jonah Berger.
Yeah.
Is it Jonah Berger?
Jonah Berger,
okay.
yeah.
And he talked about this cheese steak.
Yeah, absolutely.
That they tried to get the buzz in Philly. Was it in Philly?
It was a restaurant in Philly called Barclay.
Right, and they said, you know what, let's charge it for $100.
Absolutely.
Now, what made you connect this cheese steak to your CD, man?
I mean, for one, I just thought it was a dope idea, right. You know, and I didn't, like, immediately, I did put the book down, right. And I was just like, damn, that's crazy, you know, and then, you know, there's a lot of other examples in that book, right. You know, and that was one that really stood out to me. And when I was thinking about, you know, the days and weeks leading up to the release of my project, I was just thinking about ways that we could get, you know, because I believe we in a guerrilla era. Like, it's all type of guerrilla tactics we can take. Like, Kanye was putting videos on the wall. Right. That was bigger than any single off that album.
Of course.
Jay did some, you know, scavenger hunt with his book when he put his book out.
The Easter eggs.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think that was dope, you know, and I think that's the era we living in where we could be creative. And for minimal, you know, overhead, we could do some dope shit.
Now, did you tell Karen initially? Did he tell you that he wanted to?
Yeah, when he first sent it to me, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit skeptical.
He's like, nigga.
Like, he sent me the link. He was like, yo. He just sent in a like
5-word text.
Yeah, he texted me. He was like, yo, I want to put out my mixtape for $100. And then.
So what would you say? He was like, you smoked
No,
it?
I saw it and I was like, okay. And then he sent me a link to the cheeseburger thing, to the Philly cheese steak thing. So when I got on the phone with him, I was like, you know, maybe we can do like $50 or something. He was like, yeah.
You was trying to
And
undercut
then-
his dream?
Yeah. I was like, maybe we can do like $50. That's
Right.
like a good price.
Right. Now, were
And
you
then-
believing even the $50 though?
No, the $50, yeah.
Okay. Now,
Because-
but wow.
Cause I think of it like when I first moved to LA. He may not remember this. When I first moved to LA 3 years ago, the first thing I wanted to do was to go to Crenshaw, go to his store and buy a shirt. And it was funny. He was at the store with his daughter.
Yeah.
And that was just like that whole experience to me meant something just to have that shirt. So I know the importance of Nipsey Hussle in LA.
Right.
So I knew people were going to gravitate towards this project, but I wasn't sure about the $100 because we're in the state we're in right now. Nobody buys records.
Right,
Nobody.
nobody.
Yeah, nobody. So
Nipsey buy record. Well, when it's not the
MTV sponsored.
MTV sponsored.
Oh, no,
you buy
he-
records.
He buys records,
Okay.
books, magazines.
Right.
We can't walk past anything without him like looking. He buys apps
Right.
and everything on his phone. But after we had the initial conversation, and I was like, okay, we're gonna re-talk about it the next day. I look on Instagram, and he already put it up. So I was like, all right, his mind is made up, and let's just go.
Right.
You just gotta trust and believe what.
Now, were you
people wanna
pissed
do.
off that he put it up
No,
without?
no. Like I just figured, he wanted my opinion, and he was gonna do what he had to do, and he just, it's just that's the kind of thing you want with the you want when you work with an artist
Right.
is he really believed in it. So the fact that he was really passionate about it made me passionate about it. And I'm like, fuck it, we gonna make this work.
All the time.
Now, I read this article or this interview with Jonah, and he was actually congratulating you. Like he acknowledged the fact that you read his book, and he was actually inspired that you was inspired by what he wrote. Have you met him?
Man, what's crazy is that, we working on something together now.
Okay.
Me and Jonah gonna collab on something.
It kind of would make sense that you guys would like do a book or something like that.
Yeah, we gonna actually, well, the concept that we gonna present is gonna be a extra chapter to the Contagious book, which is a #1 New York Times bestseller now.
Right.
And it's just gonna be.
So you about to be a New York Times?
I don't know if I can take
bestseller?
that credit. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna have
Yeah, take it.
Yeah,
What?
yeah,
I mean,
we'll
you
take
charging
it then.
$100 mixtapes. You might as well say fuck it, B.
Yeah, nah, but the reality of it is that we're gonna do for sure. There's gonna be another chapter of
Right.
Contagious,
Right.
and it's gonna be about the Proud to Pay Crenshaw story and what that was, and it's gonna be maybe an epilogue or extra chapter.
Addendum on the whole nine, right?
Yeah, where he does it, because the book is just basically examples and then his commentary around these examples.
Right.
So he gonna use the story of what we did with the Crenshaw album and the $100 mixtape and the Proud to Pay concept. He gonna write his ideas and why this is contagious and why this was a conversation starter and why it became, a big story and got influential people's attention.
Right.
And
Now, Nipsey, don't change on me, man. Like, you about to go into the white world right now, the
Nah,
literary
man.
world where
Nah.
they just all
I
tighten
ain't
the
gonna start
ass.
talking proper, man.
They tighten the ass. Don't do the Kanye, B.
I can't. I gotta go back
Switch the
home,
voice
man.
up.
I gotta go back home. I say that a lot, man. Like, and no disrespect to nobody, I gotta go back home.
Of course. Now, one of the things also that I impressed you, man, that about you that impressed me was, you mentioned one of the books that really inspired you was actually one of the books that inspired me is Robert Greene's 48 Laws of Power. So it would make sense that you would connect with Jonah since 50
Yeah.
connected with Robert.
And that was the example we gave. Like, but actually, Jonah was like, man, like, I can't express what you've done to my book. You took my book to heights I would never imagine.
Right.
Let's collab. I would love to. I'm glad Crenshaw was so successful for you. And I was just like, damn, I was about to tell you that.
Right.
Like, thank you for writing such a dope book. And you know what I mean? But he was just real humble and real appreciative.
Now, isn't it amazing, man, that, in this world that we live, particularly now, and you spoke about it in some of your interviews, especially with regard to Complex, how a lot of us, the way shit is so fucked up right now, a lot of us, and what I mean by a lot of us, there's a lot of people of color are still trapped by this concept or this ideology that the white man's ice is colder.
Yeah.
But here you go, and you do something, and you realize that the other side is like,
Equally
in awe. You know what I'm saying? The
Absolutely.
power structure may not necessarily lend for that balance to go back and forth equally, but when you break that wall, isn't that like, like you said, you were surprised, right?
Yeah, I think that people, we beyond everything. I think institutions are beyond.
Right.
But people, I think we've evolved, of all races. A lot of the biggest rap fans is like not people of color.
Right.
And they support and they understand. They could argue your story, damn near better than you could and justify your cause for you better than you could. Like, this is why he does what he does, and this is why this place he comes from, and they completely foreign to it.
Right.
But I think the institutions like record labels, like, you know,
The
public,
media.
you know what I'm saying? I think they haven't fully caught up yet, you know.
Right. Now, one of the things that you also talked about, and initially I didn't really fully read it, but you were like, when you were criticizing Complex, you were like, you can't really criticize what I do if you don't walk in my shoes. And I read it to mean that, okay, if somebody didn't live your particular life. So basically, sometimes I criticize music. But I'm not from the West Coast. You know what I'm saying? I don't know anything about affiliation in the whole nine. Did you mean that no one could criticize your shit, or an outsider to the culture can't criticize your shit?
I meant it the same way that I can't spank your kid.
Right.
Because that's not my kid. And I don't necessarily have a
Well, you know something's wrong with somebody's kid, though.
Yeah, but that's not my place to put my hand to discipline him with you know, violence.
Right.
Unless, you know, it's a clearly established love there, right? Or else the number one, the kid will reject the discipline. Number two, I'll be wrong.
Yeah, you go to jail.
But that part too, but just morally, I'll be wrong.
Right.
But if you they pops or that's her, you know, they mother, they got the right to discipline their child because there's love there. They love them.
Right.
So my thing is, you can't critique what I do if you don't love hip hop. If you don't love the culture, you have no place critiquing it.
Got it.
If you love it, yes, critique it, because that's like the parameters for creativity.
Right.
You don't want to make nothing whack because you know somebody gonna give an honest opinion about it.
Of course.
From a perspective of love.
Right. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But if you don't love it, I don't care what your race is. There's a lot of like white people, Hispanic people that love hip hop and really are of the culture.
Right.
They got all right. But just, you know, because how big hip hop is, everybody has an opinion about it. And
so
my stance was like, we don't need your opinion if you
don't
don't
need
love it.
If you don't know about it. So it kind of reminds me of what's going on right now with TDE and GQ.
Classic example.
What'd you think of that, man? Like, you know, TDE puts Kendrick Lamar on the cover, and, you know, they do this big piece where it's supposed to be celebrating TDE and Kendrick. But at the end of the day, they took offense, TDE took offense because of the
way that the article's written.
Right.
I agree with a point that was made that, you know, it should not surprise you. You shouldn't be surprised by the success of Kendrick Lamar.
Right.
Or
TDE.
The discipline of Top Dog, unless you have a reason to be surprised.
Right.
Now, what's your reason?
Right.
That's the question.
Because you didn't expect.
Why didn't you expect?
Right.
That's where the offensive gesture is, right?
I think more than anything, too, if you got a chance to read it, it's the comparisons
between Death Row and Suge Knight, and
like comparing Top Dog to Suge Knight, and then just the label to Death Row, and how it even started discussing his friend and how they couldn't even find Kendrick.
Right.
I think it got a little bit lazy, and they just wanted to add
extra dramatic.
Yeah, they wanted to add a dramatic spill to it, and then like the Drake questions. I think they were a little bit misinformed.
Right.
You know, TDE has been around for a very long time.
Very long time.
And I kind of wish
they would
consistent. Yeah, I kind of wish they would have discussed, you know, the beginning, but that's not really what people, I guess they thought their readers would want to know. So I think more than anything, it's not an excuse. They were a little bit misinformed, and I wish they would have kind of apologized, or just, you know, I don't know if they actually printed the whole story, or maybe they could just online they could have put additional content. But more than anything, they're misinformed, and it's sad because this is his first big look, you know, in that type of publication, and this is the first thing people see comparing him, you know, TDE to Death Row. I just think that was just a little distasteful.
Right. Now, so do you think this, let me ask you, because at the end of the day, you know, kind of like what y'all did with Complex and Mark, do you think that GQ learned anything from them pulling out, or
no?
No,
because just the way their response, they were like, you know,
playing dumb.
Like I don't know what you're talking about. You know, it's sad that he couldn't take part in such a great musical event. They don't care. You know why? Because now everybody is. They were very condescending. Now everybody's talking about their issue, and everyone's gonna go buy it. So they don't lose. So more again, I kind of wish they, you know, it should have been handled on the back end, but you know, it was good that Top spoke his mind and he said how he felt, because a lot of times, you know, I had this conversation with Vibe, people come into the culture and put their opinions on you, and that's not fair at all to them, because they work, Top and Punch work really, really hard, and they should have showed that.
As opposed to being surprised.
Yeah, as opposed to being surprised
Right.
and comparing it to one thing. Like, I'm not taking away from anything Suge has done, but just to respect seeing the things that Top and Punch have done in a short amount of time.
Not just for the West Coast, but for the culture in general.
Yeah, for just the way that they move, that they, this is an independent, before the Interscope situation, this is a very independent company. And from the way they do touring and booking and everything else, they're just very strategic, and they should have really showcased that and
Right.
spoke on that.
But at the end of the day, none of us are surprised.
It's GQ. It's like you're gonna get the fluff piece from them.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and they're not gonna like Nipsey. They're not gonna live that life.
Yeah.
If they don't already live that life, they're not gonna go out their way to live that life.
Well, hire a writer to do it. I
Right.
mean,
There's
just-
many writers out there.
Or suffer the backlash of hip hop turning on you,
Exactly.
because that's a real backlash.
Right.
but
You know?
I don't think people are going to turn on them, because now if they offer XYZ a cover, what GQ,
Oh,
let me
yeah,
go do my photo
exactly.
shoot.
But
They're
that's
not going to
whack.
care.
That's whack.
They're not going to
I
care.
mean, but that's how we operate. Also, we don't always
Yeah.
we don't move in unison anymore.
We
But
don't.
that's
You know
a
what I'm saying?
problem.
Right.
Because
It's a
people got
big
influence.
problem.
People got
It's a big
influence. And
problem.
People
gotta,
gonna be like, what happened to Kendrick is Kendrick.
Yeah.
Me, I
I got to get my shine.
put me in that
Kendrick
time
already.
forward.
and that's,
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
that's a problem.
Exactly.
That's a problem.
Now, Nipsey, who spent 100? Who tell me the type of people? Because this is where I'm ignorant.
Yeah,
Who bought, other than Jay,
Yeah.
who bought the 100 copies?
yeah.
Who bought the CD for $100?
Man, bro, like,
And I know you know them. Like, tell me the types of people.
the
man.
first dude was like a young rapper from Compton. He
Okay.
was like 16.
16.
He bought it, just people that love the music that been supporting from day one.
Right.
And I think that was just genuine music lovers and like just people that's from this generation.
Okay.
That understand why that's such a current idea, because they understand iTunes, they understand that piss, they understand the bootleg world, they understand what's really happening with music.
Right.
This is their generation.
Right.
So they understand why that's a really current idea and why that made so much sense, because they know music is an option to them. Like I know it is.
Right.
And they know when they do buy something, it's after they've experienced it for free.
Right.
And so the proud to pay, I think it resonates with our generation, because you buy because you are proud for what you already experienced. Like, this is a dope album.
Right.
I was motivated by this. I turned up the whole summer to this album. I gotta go buy this.
Now, did anybody surprise you other than Jay? Did anybody like in these people that bought your CDs? Did anybody surprise you? Did you meet people that surprised you? Like, you bought my shit?
Man, certain girls like hit me like, man, I love it, man. I bought it. I respect your hustle. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to support. I don't know if it's because Jay-Z jumped in and supported, or if they was, just respect the hustle for real. But like a lot of people, I wouldn't like jump out there and put their name on blast, but just a lot of people was just like, this is a dope idea. I respect your hustle, man.
Right.
I'm behind this, man. I'm supporting, you know what I'm saying?
Now, Karen, when y'all put it out, did you have the butterflies in your stomach? Like, oh shit, did we just fuck up? Like initially, honestly,
I mean, I looked at it like the glass is half full.
Right.
So hopefully, everything will be good. And
Right.
he was getting them notifications. So I bought it myself, and he hit me 2 minutes later, like, good looking. Then I went to the in-store, and I was like, all right, let me see what's going to happen. I drove by the in-store, and the line was around the corner. Wow. And I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, this is happening.
that's
and then,
crazy to me. B. Like,
and just people were celebrating, like Ross into Makesa,
Bel Air.
Bel Air.
Right. Yeah.
And the most memorable thing for me is inside, this dude brought his mom. He bought the CD for his mom, and he wanted his mom to meet Nipsey.
hold on,
He was-
how old is his mom's?
he was young, had
Okay.
mad
So
tats.
she
and the
probably
whole
like
nine.
30 something or
She
something like
probably
that.
like no older than 40, but it was
Okay.
just funny. He was
So
like,
she's
yeah.
still smoking that. She's smoking blunts.
Yeah, so he was like, I don't really want to picture my mom's. He was like, I just want to sign my CD, but my mom's really want to meet him. I bought the CD for my mom's.
Yeah.
I just thought that was so dope.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. Now, how did the Jay-Z thing happen?
He can speak on that.
And actually B-Dot from Rap Radar
Yeah.
hit me.
Yeah.
Cause I originally asked him like, bro, could you post a flyer?
Mm-hmm.
He like, we don't post flyers on Rap Radar, but
Right.
write something up,
Right.
and I'll post your statement. So I wrote a statement just about why, I made the album $100, my thought process behind it, and he posted the statement. 10 minutes later, he DM'd me back like, Jay-Z love the idea. He said salute. I was like, oh, all right, cool.
Okay.
Tell him good looking. You know what I'm saying? For sure.
Right.
That was big.
What was going on through your mind?
I was just like, that's dope. You know, that's cool. I was at that point, bro. I was all in. I wasn't tripping if the whole world turned on me and was like, you're whack. Number one, I knew that the music was dope.
You was in the zone.
Yeah, and I knew that it was genuine. It was really how I felt on all them songs. It was really my story. And I was just like, you know, it's also free. So if I don't sell one unit, it'll still have the same impact of a dope mixtape that came out for free. Right.
So
it was a win-win.
So when you found out that he actually bought 100,
that was the next day. My guy who I did the in-store at his shop, he hit me like, hey Nip, Jay-Z had Rock Nation reach out. They want to buy 100 units.
Yeah, did you say stop playing, man?
Nah, I wasn't. I ain't
you
say
you
stop
believe
playing.
that shit immediately?
He ain't no funny style nigga that's gonna say anything. So I was like, all right. I'm like, don't tell nobody. I don't want niggas to get lazy.
Right.
And you know, go popping champagne and shit. So we ain't say nothing to nobody for a couple days. We just kept. Not even to say my team is like that, because if anybody, I'm the most like celebratory of my whole team. Them niggas is like, you know what I'm saying, Navy Marines or the Marine, whatever the shit.
Focus.
Yeah, them
SEALs.
niggas is serious.
Yeah.
You know, so I just like, let's not say nothing. Let's just work and execute. And you know, they sent the paperwork through. They sent the bread to the account. We shipped it out. I wrote Jay a thank you letter, and we sent some you know, some merchandise to his team and all that. They try to buy some clothing too. And
so they trying to buy out the farm, huh?
Yeah, we like, nah, y'all spend 10 bands. We gonna send you some free sweaters and beanies and shit.
Right. That's amazing, man.
Yeah, man, I was humbled by it, and I just if it was possible to have any more respect for Jay, I did based on that move.
Right.
I already held him in the highest light just off his legacy.
Right. Now you've been in the game.
Yeah.
You were signed to a major. You were signed to Epic.
Yeah.
You know, you've been going through, like, you know, the situation's not working.
Yeah.
Do you have a greater sense of respect for the game right now because of the success that you just experienced?
I think I got a better understanding for the game. I respected the game before rap.
Right.
Meaning you get what you give.
Right.
So I never doubted that I gave a lot, and I continue to give a lot. So I don't think that a label or a situation can get in the way with the energy you put into the universe.
Right. Now, how did y'all start working together? I asked y'all this off air, but how did y'all connect?
I've known Nipsey for a while when he was with, I went to John Shapiro's house, and he was upstairs recording because he had a recording studio there. Then I went to the Fader show, and we were cool since then. Then when I moved to LA, then I reconnected when I was like, I gotta go by the store. I gotta go see what's happening because I just always had an appreciation for him. Then I'd see him from time to time, South by, other places. Then he hit me about premiering a song on my site, which was Blessings.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Which was, you know, we saw each other probably 2 weeks or something prior to that, like at a day party or something. So gave him my updated info. He's like, yo, I want you to release this song. And I usually don't hit people. Like when they send me music or whatever the case may be, it had to be like 1 a.m. I was with Pusha and Steve and Victor. And we just kept playing the song back to back. I was like, yo, this fucking song is so dope. And I texted him. I was like, yo, this shit is so hard.
No, he was like, Blessings is 100. That was it. You know what I'm saying?
I was like,
all right, cool.
Yeah, I was like, this shit is, the record was just so hard. And never just from there, like he did a little something kind of fucked up to me that I kind of got pissed off about.
What did I do?
So,
well, what'd you do?
I don't know. I want to hear the rest of this.
So
Go ahead.
I set up
the MTV.
I set up this MTV thing for him to do, like rides. I think it's like the show was like rides or something. So I set it up through his management at the time. So he was supposed to come. We were going to do a whole episode. It was going to be a nice look. They go with him to wherever he needed to go.
And you're doing it just on the love?
Yeah. Okay. But his one stop needed to be in the Beats by Dre office, which was to come see me. I did the season prior with Mike Posner, and they were like, who you want to do it with? I was like, I got to do it with Nipsey Hussle. And then just go to his Crenshaw store with him. So they get there, we're mic'd up. They're like, Nipsey's on his way. I'm like, all right. Then I hit back, like I hit DJ Ski and his team. I'm like, so it's an hour. They're like, no.
We almost there?
Yeah, he's like, he's not answering, but he should be on his way. Another hour go by. And I'm like, listen.
And they got the camera set up in the whole nine?
Yeah.
And time is money.
Yeah, and this is when I got rude. I was like, stop fucking lying to me. Tell me if he's coming. And they're like, well, now he's not answering. But we figured out later. He told me, he has some personal things going on. And they never even spoke to him about it. So he never
So you weren't notified of the whole nine?
I wasn't. I didn't get the full scoop until the same day. That's not to take away from, the team. And then,
because shit happens.
That's a wag excuse for me to say too, but that day was just kind of hectic, and then my car was in the shop, and so Karen was like, you could have used somebody else's car. And I was like,
so you was hot, Karen?
She was hot.
Yeah.
What do you do? What is she? Because you always smiling, but you got this.
No,
you got the look of death, Karen.
Yeah,
like,
I was so
you be throwing
mad.
shit. You throw shit.
No, I was mad at Ski and his team. Like I just.
But that was not their fault at all.
Right.
No, I know, but I was just mad because at this.
You put a lot on this.
Yeah, I just thought it would be a dope look, and I was just like, I really like him as an artist, and they filled up every episode except this one.
Right.
So then they had to go look for someone else and do the whole thing.
So how'd y'all patch this up?
Yeah, I mean, we eventually saw each other. I was like, I got over it.
She jabbed me up. You know what I'm saying? It was cool after that.
Now, Karen, you Haitian, right?
Yes.
How many jobs you got?
Oh man.
Like, what the fuck do you do? Like, I see you everywhere.
Oh man.
You doing like makeup ads and like you all over the place.
Well, I got my whole KarenCivil.com.
Which is what you started with.
Yeah, which is what I started with. So with the site comes endorsements.
Right.
So I did something for CoverGirl this year.
Congratulations!
Thank you. Nike and a few other things that came with that. And then of course I have my digital marketing business that is more quiet on the low. People don't really know too much about, but that's really my baby and what I care about. And that is Wayne, Mac Main, Young Jeezy, Pusha T, Mary J. Blige, and Mark Echo, and Nipsey too. And then I'm now the entertainment media manager at Beats by Dre. So
how do you manage this?
I have no choice. I'm Haitian.
But what do you have any personal time? No,
not really. But I'm okay with that.
Okay.
I like to work. I come from a very hardworking family, so I'm okay with that. My personal time is working and just having, making moments for things in culture matter to me more than anything. You
know what? Let's go to a break, man. You're tuned into the Combat Jack. When we come back, I want to go more into the origins of Karen Civil.
Okay.
And where Nipsey Hussle is headed.
Let's
next. Now, let's into this. You're tuned into the Combat Jack Show, the CombatJackShow.com. Yo, I'm just astounded, man. I knew we were going to have Nipsey in the building, but Karen Civil, I'm just like, this is like it's like Christmas and Thanksgiving on the same fucking day. But when we went to our break, man, Ben Hameen, it was either Ben Hameen or A King pointed attention to Nipsey's pen like his medallion on his. First of all, he got the crazy rope right now, but I didn't know what the pendant was.
Yeah.
You got Malcolm X, B.
Yeah, man. Malcolm X.
With diamonds.
Yeah, man.
In the thought position, man.
Yeah.
Malcolm X. I never seen nobody with Malcolm X on their goals and diamonds, man. What's the science behind that, man?
Aside from me respecting dude and what he stood for and just being somebody that believed in a lot of things he believed in, it was a gift from my brother. My brother, like a real discipline, you know what I'm saying? True hustler. And that was one of the things that when he was really on top of his, not to say he not now, but when he was really like in his prime of getting money, he bought a lot of jewelry, you know what I'm saying? And it's one of the pieces he got made. And I think his thought process.
That's a chunky piece too. That's a chunky Malcolm.
Yeah, man, it's serious.
Serious. That's like how much does that shit weigh?
I think it's like 300 grams, 400 grams, something like that. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, man, if you're gonna rock gold, be politically minded. That's beautiful right there, man.
That's right. Yeah.
But I mean, you had a question.
Yeah, not even a question though. But I think you said it's like your brother and stuff. But I think that like the thought process of Malcolm reflects in your music because you're not just like West Coast shoot 'em up, bang bang, whoop whoop whoop.
Yeah.
You say a lot more. You give people both sides of the story. It's not just the bullshit. Blam blam, shoot 'em up.
Absolutely. I think it's underappreciated in a lot of times in my message. People that don't necessarily dive into my whole catalog just look at what
surface.
The surface and just where I come from.
Right.
and me representing where I come from
Right.
as like, oh, he's just a cliche gang member or some shit.
Now
like
I was listening to you. I'll be honest. I wasn't up on your music, but I've been listening to your music, and you're very descriptive in terms of how you put your words together. Like you will put details in your raps, not just some blatant shit. I like the way you formulate like the little pieces to make the big picture, man.
That's what's up. Thank you. Yeah.
Now, Karen.
Yes.
I'm not gonna leave you alone. How'd you get in this game? Because I remember back in 2009, me and Dallas Penn threw our first,
barbecue.
Bring Your Own Bloggers Barbecue, and
that was nice in Brooklyn.
In Brooklyn at PNC, and I think at the time I didn't even recognize you. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't know you, and it wasn't maybe until a year or so looking back at the video, I was like, hold up, Karen Civil was there?
Yeah, that's when I just like the year prior I started my website.
Right.
So it was like it was on WordPress. It was everything was still new to me. But I started off interning for Flex.
Okay.
I was there for a few years, and then
at Hot.
At Hot.
Okay.
So I was there for a few years, and then it got to the point where you just kind of know something has to be next. You can't do this.
You see
forever.
the ceiling for yourself over there.
I definitely saw the ceiling, and when I was hitting that, I moved on to work over at Dipset.
Okay.
Where it really was no exact title. Like I was an A&R admin, but I did a ton of other things. So
Get your hands dirty, which is the best way to learn.
So I started Dipset mixtapes.
Okay.
With Duke the God. So I did know, like when Nipsey talked about moving the mixtapes and doing certain thing, I know there is an audience out there who continues to buy stuff.
Right.
But it was incredible. They moved the mixtapes that they were selling at the time they was doing the stuff with K Slay. It was like $5.
What year was this?
This was like 2000. Don't quote me. Yeah, five, six.
When they
like
was
that.
hot.
Yeah, right after the split with Dame. And
That's
Jay.
when they went renegade.
Yeah, and then
they went full Taliban.
And Jim, and then Jim started to do his own thing, and then J.R. Ryder, Hell Rel, and everybody came. So started the whole website. They were moving mixtapes for $5 on the streets, and the mixtapes were $20 online. And then
people were buying them.
Yeah, and there's $7 in shipping.
Right.
So you paid $27 for a mixtape.
Right.
And then they had all the merchandise and everything else. Jewels had the store on 151st in Amsterdam. It was a nice situation. And then again, I just knew it was time to go.
Right.
When Jim and Cam weren't really seeing eye to eye. People were in different places in their lives.
And that you could see where that would hurt the brand.
Yeah, pretty much. And I mean, Cam was at a different space. Jim's situation, he was at a different space. Max was locked up, and then Stack Bundles passed, and then Jaja didn't really know where she was going, so you didn't know who to go with. Because or it was weird situations on both ends. So then I took some time off, and then I started to work with Wale a bit, which was great.
In the early days, huh?
Yeah.
It's like Mark Ronson?
With Mark Ronson.
Okay.
That was my first time going to London. He performed.
And you were doing what exactly for?
Just anything possible, connecting the dots, interviews, kind of just moving and shaking and making sure he was at certain places.
Right.
And that was my first time really integrating two people. So he had a Nike Boots record that was out at the time.
I remember that.
And I had my relationship with Wayne because he was big with Dipset, working and stuff like that. And him and Jewels that's when they first started the tape.
Now, you knew Wayne was going to pop like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Dipset worked with certain people early. It was Slim Thug.
Yep.
It was Paul Wall.
Did they work with Ross?
No, Jeezy.
Okay.
Jeezy was big.
Right.
And then Lil Wayne.
Right.
Those are the people that like Dipset loved, were their go-to guys. So he did the Nike Boots remix. Like I sent him an email.
Well, they did. Yep.
Wayne did.
Okay.
I sent him an email and he sent it back like 2 days later with the verse. And I was like, oh shit, I can get things done.
Right.
I was like, I can move out here. I was like, I can move out here. And then that's when I just realized, like, I was like, I got to figure out what this means for me and how I continue to build my imprint. Unfortunately, Wale, whatever.
Right.
And
went the other way?
Yeah, I mean, whatever.
His loss?
Yeah, and then
No shots?
Yeah, none at all. None at all. Great guy. And then no, great guy.
Right.
And then I just thought it'd be good to start my website. I was like, I wanna build my brand. I was like, I'm tired of building everybody else's brand. I want people to know.
And you got naturally the perfect last name.
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna use my name. I don't want people to just know me as Karen. I want them to know me as Karen Civil.
Right.
I'm just gonna have my full name just be what it is for me.
Right.
And then I started my website. I started the first interview I did was Dylan.
Dylan.
Yeah.
Dylan.
Where was the place Diddy made them walk to again?
Juniors.
Yeah, we did our interview in Juniors.
Okay.
And then
you got hit? Did you get a lot of hits?
It was light. It was light.
Right.
What did it for me was I interviewed Drake on his birthday at Starbucks.
When nobody really knew.
Yeah, nobody. But I
Right.
knew who he was because he used to come up to see Jim Jones to like play music and do certain things. So I'm like, I used to love him from Degrassi.
Right.
So I
before he got crippled or after?
after on the show. So that got me some hits.
Right.
I remember I got like 700 and something hits. I was like,
700.
I was like, oh snap. And then I started to work with Max B too. I was like, this is perfect. I have my site and I'm working with Max.
Right.
But then unfortunately Max had to go to jail.
Right.
And I was like, I'm gonna just focus on my site for a while. I focused on my site for 2 to 3 years, and then I reconnected with Mac, Maine, and Wayne, and I was helping them with the new roster they had, which was Tyga and different things like that. And then Wayne went to jail, and he was like, I got to figure out a way to still stay relevant.
Right.
And I'm like, man, this internet thing is popping.
Right.
You need to get on here. I was like, he had like over 1 million fans on MySpace, and I was like, on Facebook, you had like 300,000. I was like, you got to get hot on here.
Channel that.
So
on the
yeah,
internet.
now his Facebook is like 50 million.
So did you help him?
Yeah.
50 million.
Yeah. We started the whole WheezyThanksYou.com.
Okay.
You know, he was sending in his letters. Vogue gave it best. In their music edition, they gave it like best hip hop website or something to that effect. And then he has a Guinness Book of World Records for fastest amount of likes and most amount of likes on Facebook.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he took it from Oreo.
Right.
And then his album
Oreo the cookie?
Oreo the Cookie had the Guinness Book of World Records.
Wayne beat Oreo the cookie.
Yes. So now he
Oreo eats Wayne cookies.
So yeah, I mean it just everything just kind of worked out from there, and I got a chance to, you know, work with him on some other stuff when he came out, and I just went back to making sure like all my Karen Civil platforms, you know, people started to know who I was. I started getting more interviews, and I wanted to interview people early.
Right.
So Nipsey was one. I did this thing called the introduction. It was Drake, Nipsey Hussle, Currency, J-Rock,
that's a nice lineup.
J.
right there.
Cole.
That's a nice lineup right there.
Yeah, so these were
are
people,
people that you're introducing now.
yeah, these were people super early on, and the pictures look so terrible. I look so young.
You know what?
We gonna go search for them.
Yeah,
Google them.
It looks so young.
Right.
But yeah,
And what are you learning through these interviews, like about yourself and your interview skills and what you're bringing to the table?
More than anything, it's just, you know, I get to go to the studio with these people, give them my take,
Right.
you know, learn more about this culture and just where artists want to go in their lives. Because, you know, growing up, you just see people who just make music.
Right.
But now it's all these other opportunities for them, and being able to have these, like, conversations. Because, again, I'm a strategist. I love marketing and digital and all that other
Where does
space.
that come from? I mean, what did your family do? Like,
I just naturally loved the internet.
Right.
I just loved the internet. I had a Backstreet Boy website growing up, fan club
What?
website. I had one for JD.
you had your own Backstreet.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I had one for JD Williams.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember the actor from The Wire.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bodie.
Yeah,
Bodie.
Yeah. So
Did Bodie get popped?
yeah, he got popped.
Yeah,
on
Yeah,
the
Bodie
show.
got popped.
In the worst way.
So what's crazy is when
Light skinned Bodie, right?
Holding
Yeah.
down the block.
Yes.
when I started the Yahoo group for him, his lawyer reached out to me and he actually took me out. And, like, we met for the first time, and I was like, I can get what I want.
His lawyer.
Yeah, like, his lawyer reached
Because you would
out
think
to me.
that his lawyer would send you to cease and desist.
Yeah, but it was I don't know. He was appreciative for
Right.
it because at the time nobody was really doing stuff like that. And
Right.
it was like over 1,600 fans on there.
Mm.
So for him, he's like, who is this chick
That's
rallying my
right,
fans?
Right.
So we went to IHOP. It was cool. It was like
Chocolate syrup. You got the chocolate syrup.
it was nice, and that's
Right.
when I realized I was like, I could get what I want from the internet.
Mm.
And
So
ever
you're in a
since
sense kind of like a pioneer of this thing.
Yeah, I was just like, I loved it. And then
Right.
going on to Flex, working with Flex, I was like, hey, we got to take pictures. We got to do video. We got to do this.
You
And
helped.
they
You
used-
helped him with his site.
Yeah, I eventually
Okay.
started with his site too, but this was early on. He was like, yo, you got to chill out.
Right.
Like,
Because
they
he
be-
wasn't,
Yeah, you weren't thinking about doing stuff like
especially
that.
with someone like Flex who was already successful
Yeah.
without the internet.
Without it at all.
You know.
So, eventually when I left, and crazy how I get the call from him one night, it had to be like 10, 11 o'clock. He was like, hey, this is Flex. I was like, what's up? He was like, yeah, man, I'm ready to start this site. I was like, oh, snap, look
Got
at
the
this.
papers. You got the papers.
Yeah, so started his website
Nice,
with him, and
nice.
the first piece of content he did was he interviewed Wayne from jail. That was Wayne's only interview, and
And you set that up.
yeah. And that was like, again, I like to just cross brand and
Right.
make things work.
Right.
And he came in, and out the gate, that interview got him 1 million hits.
Out the gate.
Yeah, so he was just
Out the
like,
gate. A non-internet dude
yes.
killing it.
And then Flex just adapted, and he loved it. And now, he's having meetings with all these different social and digital spaces. And
I will tell you, when Flex first dropped, I was like, you don't know this shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I'm so impressed by it. Like
Everybody kind of wrote him off, and they were
Yeah.
like, what are you doing? Why are
Right.
you helping him? I was like, listen, I like when people are passionate about things.
Right.
And he was passionate about it. He wanted to learn. He used to call me like, so what is this? What should I do with this? How do I do this? And I kid you not, I just felt like he was the only person I worked with. He would call me all day long. We have conversations all day long. And now just to see how well he's doing, I mean,
congratulations.
thank you.
Congratulations.
I mean, it worked out for him, and it's something that he adapted with the change, and
Right.
a lot of DJs haven't gotten that far that need to realize, like, besides radio, you
Yes.
have a fan base outside of the tri-state area.
Yeah, you got to go overseas in the whole nine from your laptop.
Yeah, and,
From your laptop.
and he's doing that. So just doing my part to integrate brands,
Right.
and just help people market and get their ideas off the ground.
And you're
So,
having a good time.
yes,
Having a good time.
Yes.
She just smiled.
yes.
Now,
I am.
Nipsey, now you in good company, man.
Most definitely.
I'm not even worried about you right now, man.
Nah, I brag on KC all the time.
I'm not even
I tell
worried
her that
about
every
you.
day.
I asked you a question off air, like what y'all did with Crenshaw.
Yeah.
Could that happen in New York? Could you put a mixtape out in New York for $100?
I don't
and
know.
people come out and support it?
I think you could.
I think so too.
I think I don't think it got nothing to do with the area. I think it's the artist.
Thank
Right.
you.
You know what I'm
It
saying?
has to do with the project too.
Okay.
Cause I mean, it's niggas in New York that got 1,000 fans that'll pay for that shit. I'm pretty sure.
But
We might not know
but
who they
niggas
are.
in New York might not be spending $100
It's-
though.
It's
Well, y'all know better than me.
You know,
to me, I kind of think sometimes it's the environment, and I
Right.
say that to just know myself. And I use an example as, Jadakiss had a car wash, like the Locks had a car wash,
Right.
like in the Bronx or something.
Right.
I knew about it. Being a fan, I'm like, I should go by and check it out. Never did.
You got a car?
But never did. I had a Nissan at the time. I was like, I'm never taking my Nissan over there.
Why you didn't want to
I
fuck with the
just-
Bronx?
No, it's just like I just never did. I just
Niggas
never
was too hardcore. You thought they was gonna
I
dent,
just
dent
was,
your shit.
I was just never motivated.
Yo,
But as soon as I got to LA and got
Right.
off that plane, I didn't even have a car. I was like, oh, I'm going to Crenshaw. I was like, I'm about to give me a T-shirt.
so it's the environment you're saying.
Sometimes I honestly think it's the environment because I see myself. I went to the first time I met Tyler the Creator. I went to a store and made a
Right.
purchase.
Right.
Same thing with Casey Veggies. Like he has a store and I'll go by there and support. Like I'll support artists. But it's sometimes I think with the East Coast it's a little bit difficult. So I'm not sure if it would.
Is it the attitude? Because I mean, when me and Ben were driving to the studio today, I had to listen to him all. You New York niggas think you know everything, and you think it's the attitude. Like you think New York cats is arrogant and shit.
I think they're jaded too. It's not as much arrogance.
Karen,
I
because you're a New Yorker,
yeah. I be on the West Coast like I do know everything.
right?
Like, and I'll use that you don't know shit to people all the time like I do know everything.
Right.
So yeah, I honestly sometimes think it's the environment. I don't know if it's just at times the weather.
I mean, it is hard in New York because I mean,
Yeah.
shit is hard. It's hard in New York.
It's rough.
I'm not saying it's easy out west.
Nah, I know
but
what
we
you're
got
saying.
Conditions out here. It's just hard. And
I
then,
got seasons.
Yeah,
man.
we got seasons.
That's one condition.
Yeah, and then we living on top of each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that too. You know.
Yeah. Now you got your record coming out, man. Your next record.
Yeah, it's called Victory Lap.
What's your fascination, man, with marathons and
Run a
races
lap.
and
Run
victory laps and marathon too? And
Nah, I just
you run, man.
I don't like literally run, but I just tell the truth, man. And I don't mean that, no pun intended.
No. That just
You know
came
what I'm
out.
saying? Yeah. Nah, but I try to tell the truth, man.
Right.
And I figured that at that moment when I made the first marathon, that was what I told myself, because the label situation ain't work out. We did a big build up to release the album and it didn't come out. And I just looked at my life and looked at my experience up until that point. And, you can't really judge a situation by short term. I related to the streets. A lot of my homies was like the man for like 2 summers.
And you thought that was it, like this nigga's the man.
Not even that. I just seen niggas following them, and going to do what they did, and then everybody ended up getting washed and missed 10 years, 15, 20 years.
Quick.
So I used to say that on the street, it's a marathon. You know what I'm saying? Y'all
It's
niggas,
not a race, it's a
y'all
marathon.
niggas pay, do what you do. But, it's a marathon. Slow money. I'm going to do mine how I get mine. Because niggas was robbers and go running in banks and, running in spots and all that. And sometimes they'll come back the man for a couple months or a year or a summer. But then a lot of times, the nigga that just stayed down and was just hustling consistently ended up, his run ended up being way long.
Yeah, exactly.
He had to run because he stayed down and he did what he did and he knew what his game was. And he stuck to his script.
So the race ain't over, but now you feel it's the victory lap.
Yeah, just because, I think that, again, the title came out of me, my situation at Epic, not, taking his full, coming to fully.
Did that hurt your spirit, man, a little bit?
Nah, it made me like, I think it was just.
Let me interrupt you. My fans hate when I interrupt.
Nah, go ahead.
But I want to give it some context.
Yeah.
You're an artist.
Yeah.
You're in this bubble.
Yeah.
You're creating music. Every artist that's starting out, the gold ring, the shit that they living for is to get signed.
Yeah.
And then if you get signed by a major, then you made it, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So you get signed by Epic.
Yeah.
You like, yo, I just won the lotto.
I mean,
and then you realize there's levels and levels and levels and levels to this shit. And most cats at the end of the day might come out of that situation broken.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to interrupt you about.
Nah, I mean, for one, I never wanted a record deal before I got one, ever. I always looked up to Master P, Birdman, and Jay-Z. You know what I'm saying? Them was my, niggas I looked up to. You know what I'm saying? And I never wanted a deal. I got, situations happened in my life, like my brother going to the pen, our spot getting raided, us having legal problems, going through cases, me ending up being on the run at the time when a deal was offered to me. Like John Shapiro, who
how you be on the run with offers, man?
Nah, because I had music on MySpace.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I was,
Was you making the meetings and looking over your shoulder?
I wasn't going to the meetings. I wasn't going to the meetings.
Right.
Because, I had
Nipsey.
For real.
Yeah.
Like I was 19 and I was knee deep in the streets and I sold all my shit and bought studio equipment. And niggas was looking at me crazy. I just had a convo with Jeezy and he was saying something that I really related to.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like niggas was looking at him crazy.
Right.
And I dealt with that too. Like niggas was looking at me crazy. Like, what are you about to rap?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it was always something I knew I was good at and had a passion for. But 13, 14, I thought I was ready. It didn't happen. I'm like, fuck that. I'm getting money.
Right.
And then got with the bullshit. And so when I turned 19, I was like successful as a hustler. And I sold all my shit and invested in the studio and put years into recording, creating, investing in my company, buying posters.
What gave you that
venues.
foresight, man? Did you knew that at a certain point you couldn't do that shit forever, or was the call for being an artist that much strong?
It was both of them, and then this is what I also realized, and this is real. Some niggas can go do life and it don't really bother them. You know what I'm saying? Because when they was first born, they knew I wasn't finna be shit.
Right.
And through their whole life, they accepted that they wasn't finna be shit.
They got institutionalized at an early age.
Yeah, whether it was their upbringing or their lack of belief in their creativity, whatever. Me, I wasn't that dude.
Right.
I always knew I was bright. I always knew I could do whatever.
Yeah.
I was good at anything I focused on. So when I focused on the streets and hustling, I was good at it, but I always knew that
if you focus on something else,
anything else, I would be as good at it or better.
Right.
Only difference is these other things, you know, they
You
a
might have
marathon.
more, yeah, you might.
They're
yeah.
not sprints. They
might
don't
have more longevity.
absolutely.
Right.
You know, they don't end, you know, the way that these other things end. So that was my mentality,
Right.
you know, and I was just like, if I go get washed up, it's gonna really hurt me. I got niggas that's doing life that really could have been like dope rappers.
Right.
That could have been like basketball players, and they're doing life. And
Right.
you know, them niggas is the ones that they really getting tortured in there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I was like, it'll hurt me more than the average one of my homies that go to jail.
Right.
Just because of the way I view myself, my image of myself. And so, like I said, when I was 19, I just dedicated myself to it. I was sitting on my car on Crenshaw and Slauson. We didn't have no shop. That was our corner where we hustled at. And I was sitting on the hood of my car. And I was just like, you know what I'm saying? Fuck it. I'm about to just do this shit. Just like that. And I had always thought about it, and like I had like put something in myself to block out them thoughts of going to do something positive.
Right.
Like, fuck that, get money.
Right.
Fuck that,
Right.
get money. And I just eventually, I guess the levee broke, and I was like, that shit is real. That voice is something you need to listen to.
Yeah.
Sold all my shit, devoted my time and energy, did everything I could do, put all my resource toward it. And then I'm about 22, 23, the police raided the spot. Take my brother to jail. He go do 3 years in the pen. They put a gun case on me. I already had gun cases, so I had to fight that. Took all my equipment.
You got good aim?
No, you know, I wouldn't.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
No, it wasn't a discharging. It
No,
was
no,
a
no. I'm
possession.
just saying it. I'm just saying hypothetically. Did you have good aim?
I mean, you know, I can shoot a hoop. I can shoot basketballs pretty well. You know what I'm
No
saying?
bricks.
Yeah. Nah, but you know, and that right there just frustrated me to the point, and it was like an emotional decision. I was just like, fuck this shit, because I was already sacrificing so much at a young age.
And you seen your brother going through bullshit and the whole nine.
You know what I'm saying? And it was like I was sacrificing, you know, getting money to do something I believed in, and then they ended up, it was like no happy ending. They took my shit. I was back on the block. I started selling work again. You know what I'm saying? And it was just like, I'm off, and I was like I had broken up with that dream. I was over that, and I wasn't with the back and forth relationships. Because I gave it my all, it didn't work at that time, and I was like, fuck it.
That bitch don't love you.
Period. And I ain't mad at it, but I ain't fucking with that bitch no more.
Exactly.
I'm back to what I know.
Yeah.
And I still have music on MySpace from that period when I was recording.
MySpace rapper.
Yeah, you know, and John Shapiro, who signed Sean Kingston to Epic, he kept reaching out to me. Like, Nip, man, fuck with me, bro. You got it. You know, I know rap, man. I'm a New York nigga, but I know rap, man. You got it, Nip. This shit right here.
This is official. This
just
is
work
legal
with
right
me.
here.
Yeah, just work with me. I'm gonna put you in the studio. I'm like, fuck that. Can't no nigga put me in the studio. I put myself in the studio. And I'm not doing that no more. I already did that. You know what I'm saying? You missed that. That didn't work, bro. And he really begged me. And he set up studios sessions I, you know, agreed to go to, and I didn't show up. And you know, one day he had came to the West, and he's like, come to the Beverly Center. I just want to holler at you and meet you, you know, personally. I went up there and talked to him because that was like, he got a movie opportunity. You know, and it'll be a check. I'm like, all right, well, if it's some bread, I'll come holler. So I go talk to him, and he was just like, man, just give me a month. You know what I'm saying? Just work with me for a month. I'll situate something for you. So we start recording, and he put an offer on the table. You know what I'm saying? And it was a situation at Epic. And at first I was like, you know, I don't really want to go to a major label. I want to do my shit indie. But I had started to work again, start to record again. And my niggas that was in the spot with me start like going to the studio with me, supporting and recording with me.
So now you helping not just yourself, but in a sense, your inner circle.
I mean, we all did music at one point. We had a studio in our hood. And then that got shut down. I bought my studio. That became the outlet for our area. Then that got raided, and we was all back on the block. And we all had a chip on our shoulder, and we was all aggressive with our hustle at that time. And really was on some fucking shit. But then John Shapiro came through, and we was like, what y'all think? Niggas like, man, let's fuck it, let's try it. We started doing it. And, you know, he was like, I want you to meet with the people from Epic. You know what I mean? They in L.A., go to the Beverly Hills Hotel. So we go up there, and we meet with Brandon Creed, and I just kept it raw with him. Like, you know, my shit is about the culture of L.A., bro. L.A. important to the world. You know what I'm saying? This culture is real. I'm rapping about gangbanging. That's it. That's my pitch. You know what I'm saying? Here's the records, and, you know, holler back if y'all need to. And I was like, we get it, man. Let's do it. Woo, like, you know, call up your lawyers, and they offered us a deal. In the same time, one of my homeboys, Lil Shady Blue, went to jail for some shit that we got accused of doing together. And they raided the spot, and, you know what I'm saying, took him, found the camera that had pictures of me on the camera holding pistols and shit. And I went on a run because he was in jail for it already.
Right.
And I wanted to see what the outcome was going to be before I turned myself in.
Right.
And in the meantime, the deal was being negotiated with my lawyer.
Is this driving you crazy though? Because you at that crossroad.
Yeah.
Where both your worlds is now colliding. Like, what's going on through your mind, my dude?
I was just smoking a lot of cigarettes.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? That was
Newports?
Definitely Newports.
Newports. Black people love Newports.
And that just represented my. I was just. But at that point, I kind of was so used to, like, you know,
the bullshit
that it wasn't surprising.
Right.
But it was just like some more of this bullshit.
Yeah.
Who knows what's gonna happen? I just wanted to get the check so I could pay my lawyer and give my homie mama a couple dollars.
Right.
At worst,
Amazing,
you know what I'm saying,
Mm-hmm.
and look out for my nigga. And you know, I had to hide out. I you know what I'm saying, I went on the run and I hid out at my homeboy Tiny G Bob house, and he let me stay there for some months. You know, rent free. We got a wife that he was living with, and you know how it is when you stay in somebody's house and you ain't paying rent.
And they wife is in there.
And they girl in the house is usually funny.
Yeah.
They was 100 about it.
A word?
They never tripped on me, never made me feel like I was imposing.
That's amazing.
Never made me feel, man, cook for me. You know what I'm saying? Go get weed for me. Let me bring my girl to the house. You know what I'm saying? And it would just never made me feel like I was imposing.
Right.
And, you know, the deal got ready. I flew to New York, signed the deal, went to Jamaica, came back to L.A.
On the run.
Yeah.
All this on the run.
All this on the run. I got stopped on the way back, and I'm thinking it was for the bullshit, but it was just, you know, random shit brought me to the back and let me go. So I'm like, all right, I ain't got a warrant. I'm good. When I came back from Jamaica, but the next day I was at my shop on Crenshaw and Slauson, and we got police in our area called Crash Police.
Right.
And them is like the gang police that, like, they come through and get to know you. You know what I'm saying? They come hop out, ask you questions, take your name, your address, your cell phone number, your social, when you ain't done nothing.
Right.
Just so they know everybody in the hood.
They just cordially
they
putting you in the system.
They get to know you.
Right.
So if it be like a nigga with a Slauson boy on his right hand, they be like, oh, that's Nip. We know Nip. You know, or someone like, you know, with a cut on his neck, or with a if you get a vague description.
That's a little cut neck.
They know who you are. Right. They get to know you. So, you know, two of them dudes pulled up in my shop. And every time they see me, I never run from them. A lot of the homies run from the police every time they see him. I don't never run. That time I got spooked and kind of slid into my store.
Right.
And I told the homie, like, lock the door. And he just sitting there looking dumbfounded, watching the police walk up. I'm like, lock the, cause we had a little buzz door.
Right.
I'm like, lock the door.
Lock the door.
And he just sitting there. He don't want to do nothing too fast in front of the police.
Right.
They walk right in, cuff me up. They thought I had a gun on me because like I hid it on the shelf or something. They check all the shelves. They don't find no gun. They're like, why you run, Nip? You don't never run. I'm like, man, I got some bullshit traffic warrants. I ain't feel like going to jail tonight. They run my name like, you ain't got no traffic warrants. Why'd you run? I'm like, you know, I don't know, bro. I thought I had traffic warrants. I called down to the station, like, we got Nipsey. They're like, yeah, bring him in. And so right after I signed my deal, they took me to jail, held me with no bail. I had to fight my case.
How long did this take place, man?
You know, I ended up doing like 90 days, but, you know, for the first, I couldn't bail out, so, because I was on probation already.
Right.
And my homie had already took 4 years for the same case he was on with me.
Right.
But I paid my lawyer. I got like a high-powered Jewish lawyer. He came through and, you know, he got me a probation violation, a 90-day probation violation. I had done like 60 days already. So I had to do like 30 more days after my violation was up.
So you ate that?
Yeah, you know. But the whole time I was in there, I didn't know the outcome. I know my boy just took 4 for the same case.
You might could be looking at 4 or whatever.
I expected at least 3 because his joint suspension was for 4 years. Mine was for 3. So I'm expecting 3. I'm like, I fucked my deal off.
Right.
At least I could, you know, look out for my nigga family like my plan was. But then I got out. So when I got out, I flew to New York and we did Bullets Ain't Got No Names Volume 2. You know, we just went hard. We ain't writing none of that shit. I just went in the booth and was just talking shit. We did Hustle in the House. We did most of the records that I got known for in New York, fresh out the county jail.
And you knew at this point you was done. You was out.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time with myself when I was in there. Like the first 18 days, I was in medical, and that's like a one-man cell.
Right.
And they don't bring you out because they got to like quarantine niggas and shit.
Yeah.
And so I was in there kind of like stressing, like I just signed the deal, just came from Jamaica. Now I'm sitting in my cell by myself, 24 hours a day. You ain't got a phone in your cell. Only time you come out is a pill call. You know, so I was faking like I was sick so I could just come out and take a pill and just breathe some air and shit. And so I just was like, man, like I'm tired of this shit, you know. I was young, but I felt like I was burnt
You felt like
out.
an old man, right?
I was tired of that shit, you know, and I was just like, I made a whole lot of promises. Like if I do get my shit straight again, I'm gonna stand up to the moment, you know. And so then I got out, and we did the first leg of, you know, what I got known for in the rap game. The Bullets Ain't Got No Names.
Bullets.
Hustle in the House.
As a matter of fact, I was talking to Charlamagne today, man. He gave you a shout out in terms of that Bullets shit.
Yeah, that's the homie, man.
Yeah.
You know, but that was that space. And then, you know, I believed in it again when I got out. I got a lot of love. I got a lot of, you know, the industry embraced me, right, across the board. And then the shit happened with Epic.
Right.
But at that point, I had learned to just like keep going.
You've been through you've been through the fire.
I've been through what I felt was the worst already.
Right.
So I was like, shit, you know, I could still make music. I still get money.
Right.
I still got fans. I could drop my own shit.
Right.
I always wanted to be indie anyway.
Right.
So this might just be
so
poetic
Epic
justice.
put the battery in your back in a sense too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so once the point came when it was like the point of no return, we knew we couldn't move no further. I was like, man, look, don't hold me up. Let me go. That was like, man, cool. Sent the paperwork to my lawyer and gave me my release. You know what I'm saying? And since then, the marathon came out on December 21st, 2010. That was the release date we was promoting for my album. So I dropped my music the same day that we was planning on dropping the album in 2010.
Right.
And we just been pushing independence since, you know.
Nah, and it's been working, man.
Absolutely.
Listen, man, I could talk to you.
Yeah.
All night. I could really talk to y'all all
Yeah,
night.
my bad for being long.
No.
No.
I'm my bad for keeping y'all here.
Nah, it's good.
And you know, I want to wrap this up because,
Yeah.
like I said, man, we could go all night, man. But I got to commend you
That's what's up.
on the last time you got arrested, man.
Yeah.
You was standing up for Trayvon Martin.
Well, that was the headline. I'm not gonna take false credit.
Right. Okay.
You know, this what really happened. I was driving down Crenshaw. I got no tent on my car.
Mm-hmm.
Crenshaw is a street that run through 4 or 5 different neighborhoods.
Right.
So, you know, I got to, you know, the Bloods, the BPS, like the Jungles. And a lot of niggas over there got a lot of love for me.
Mm-hmm.
But somebody threw a bottle on my car. And off instinct, I just hopped out. You know, I had a blade on me. And I just walked up to the group, like, which one of you niggas threw that bottle? And niggas was like, they seen my blade on me and shit. I'm like, I ain't set tripping on none of you niggas. I ain't over here on that. Who threw that bottle though? Right. They're like, man, there's kids out here, there's women out here. But it was a helicopter up because of the Trayvon Martin rally. It was like a heavy police presence. Right. And the helicopter seen me with something in my hand and thought it was a gun. And so everybody was just sitting around. Nobody wanted to own up to it. So I'm like, y'all niggas gay. Hop back to my car. You know what I'm saying? And drove down King. Right. And when I looked in my rear view, I'm like, whoa, it's like 50 police behind me. The helicopter chasing me. I'm like, what the fuck? I pull over. I'm like, I know I ain't really committing no crime. Right. I hopped out with a knife. That's not really a crime, you know. But I'm like,
cool. It's a little crime.
What's the crime?
I mean,
attempted what? Attempted nothing. I ain't swinging nobody. I just had my knife in my hand because it was deep, you know. Right. But they pulled me out the car. Oh, the helicopter said they seen you with a gun. Oh, okay. Cool. Search my shit. Right. I don't got no gun on me. And that was that, you know what I'm saying? But then, you know, people like, that's Nipsey. Leave him alone. You know,
out here for Trayvon.
All that. And they ran with that shit, you know what I'm saying? And I ain't like TMZ asked to make a statement, and I thought about it, like, I'm not finna tell what really happened on TMZ. And I'm not gonna just lie, act like I was out here repping for Trayvon, even though I believed in it.
Of course.
I wasn't, so that'd have been some fraud shit for me to run with the publicity. So I was just like, I'm gonna be cool about that and not say nothing.
All right, man. Yo, I mean, what else y'all want to talk about? I mean, y'all have been great guests.
Thank you.
And y'all, I just love the momentum, man. Like I said, like I could talk to y'all for hours. I'm not gonna keep y'all here, but like, do y'all have any announcements, anything that y'all want to put out there?
Other than, you know, we gonna continue to support Crenshaw. You know, me and KC got a lot of big things we doing together. Nice. And Victory Lap gonna be the album 2014.
You putting a book out with that?
Damn, you got the scope. Yeah, how you know that?
Come on, man.
Yeah, my niggas on deck.
You put a book out with that?
Yeah, I am. I wrote a book called The Marathon.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like 3 different textures to the book. It's like 16 stories and essays, not stories, but like what we just talked about. Right. Like 16 different topics that I touch on about my marathon. Right. My life story.
And the price point on this, because I know you're not putting a book out and a CD for just $100. I know you upping up the ante.
Yeah, it's gonna be under the Proud to Pay campaign.
Okay.
It's gonna be the 2nd installment of that, and in it you're gonna get the Marathon 1.
Okay.
The Marathon Continues and Victory Lap with the book. and we gonna announce the price. You know what I mean?
Okay.
At a later date.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so save your money, fans, right?
Yeah, man. But then you can get the music free or
course,
on
of course,
iTunes
of
too.
course.
Like I'm gonna still give people options.
Yep.
It'll just be for the people that want a piece of that history.
Right. You're really changing the game, huh?
Yeah, he is.
Y'all are really changing the game.
Yes.
It's amazing to hear this, man.
He is.
Like y'all just inspired me.
That's what's
Like,
up.
like really,
For real.
thank you.
That's the best compliment I could get. I tell people that a lot, man. Like when somebody say I'm inspiring, that's what's up. I appreciate
If you ever get tired of rapping, man, you might become like an inspirational speaker, man.
Most definitely.
I see
man.
you going to, every place, man.
That's what's up.
Talking to
man.
these kids and these grown ass men and
Yeah,
giving them some hope, man. Giving them some life.
that's big, man. I'm for that. I'm up for that for sure.
Definitely. Well, thank you, Karen Civil. Thank you, Nipsey Hussle.
Thank
Like
you.
I said, anytime. I've been trying to
Yes.
get Karen on the show for a while now. So this
I
is
know. I wanted to come. I wanted to come towards because I'm releasing a book in 2014.
Okay.
Through Birdman.
okay.
So I wanted to come.
I heard
during
that
time.
publishing company is doing very well.
Yeah. So this is going to be Live Civil 101 Positive Affirmations.
Okay.
So it's basically about affirmations that help me through my everyday living and to, just bring it out there for young women in different paths in their life or different things they want to do. Just something to help them along.
That's nice. Well, when
Yes.
when that comes out,
Yes.
you know where to go.
Yes.
Listen, internets, you tune into the Combat Jack Show, the CombatJackShow.com.
Yeah.
Go to the midroll.com/survey/Jack. Fill out that survey. And I'm not going to keep y'all anymore. You know what it is. Dream those dreams, and then man up and live those dreams, because a life without dreams is black and white, and the universe flows in technicolor and surround sound. Blah.
Like that.
Nice.
F your radio.
Fuck with that.
That one of the, this is what impressed me about you, man, is that during your hiatus, man, you were saying that you was reading a lot of books. And you read
Absolutely.
this one particular book by John Berger called Contagious.
Yeah, Jonah Burger. Yeah.
Jonah Berger.
Yeah.
Is it Jonah Berger?
Jonah Burger.
Okay. And he talked about this cheesesteak
Yeah. Yeah,
that
absolutely.
they tried to get the buzz in Philly. Was it in Philly?
It was a restaurant in Philly called Bar Clay.
Right. And they said, you know what? Let's charge it for $100.
Absolutely.
Now, what made you connect this cheesesteak to your CD, man?
I mean, for one, I just thought it was a dope idea.
Right.
And I didn't immediately. I did put the book down.
Right.
And I was just like, damn, that's crazy. And then there's a lot of other examples in that book.
Right.
And that was one that really stood out to me. And when I was thinking about, the days and weeks leading up to the release of my project, I was just thinking about ways that we could get, use because I believe we in a guerrilla era. Like, it's all type of guerrilla tactics we can take. Like Kanye was putting videos on the wall.
Right.
That was bigger than any single off that album.
Of course.
Jay did some, scavenger hunt with his book when he put his book out.
The Easter eggs.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think that was dope, and I think that's the era we living in where we could be creative, and for minimal, overhead, we could do some dope shit.
Now, did you tell Karen initially? Did he tell you that he wanted to?
Yeah, when he first sent it to me, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit skeptical.
He's like, nigga.
Like, he sent me the link. He was like, yo. He just sent it in a like
5-word text.
Yeah, he texted me. He was like, yo, I want to put out my mixtape for $100. And then
So what would you say? He was like, you smoked
no, I
it?
saw it and I was like, okay. And then he sent me a link to the cheeseburger thing, to the Philly cheesesteak
yeah.
thing. So when I got on the phone with him, I was like, maybe we can do like $50 or something. He was like, yeah.
You was trying to
And
undercut
then-
his dream?
Yeah. I was like, maybe we can do like $50. That's
Right.
like a good price.
Right. Now, were
And
you
then-
believing even the $50 though?
No, the $50, yeah.
Okay.
Because-
Now, but wow.
Cause I think of it like when I first moved to LA. He may not remember this. When I first moved to LA 3 years ago, the first thing I wanted to do was to go to Crenshaw, go to his store and buy a shirt. And it was funny. He was at the store with his daughter.
Yeah.
And that was just like, that whole experience to me meant something, just to have that shirt. So I know the importance of Nipsey Hussle in LA.
Right.
So I knew people were going to gravitate towards this project, but I wasn't sure about the $100 because we're in the state we're in right now. Nobody buys records.
Right,
Nobody.
mixtape out
Yeah.
for free
Yeah.
with physical copies
Crazy intro right
for
here.
$100. Like, for real, my nigga. What were you smoking, dude?
Nah.
Come on, my dude.
Nah, honestly, bro, like, I always had the utmost of confidence in my skill set and just what I represent, you know what I'm saying, and what I represent to my city, to my coast, to hip hop. I always believed in that fully, like, unquestionably.
Right.
Like, this ain't no fad, it's not a gimmick. You know, I respect the culture. I'm sure the culture respect me. So I never felt like I was, you know, on a time restraint, like I had to do something by a certain time or else I was going to be out of here.
Right.
I ain't feel like it was that. I always just felt like, you know, I wanted to make my best moves and represent myself the best way I could. So the time span between my last project and Crenshaw was just me trying to.
How long was that? How long was that?
About a year and a half, 2 years almost.
Hey, King, turn the air up a little bit, man. Sorry about that.
You know, so I just was like, you know, I knew I was on the brink of like taking my creativity to the next level. I was getting to a place in myself, like my life was becoming a little bit more stable.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I just knew that I had the opportunity to do something big, and I just wanted to play the field and see what the best situation was. And it ended up being just staying independent and dropping the music outside of, you know, all the labels, all the deals that was being offered. But in that time, I think a lot of people was like, oh, it's too late.
Right.
You know, you waited too long. You know what I'm saying? You should have done this.
Which is crazy because you mad young. And you know what I'm saying? It's not like you've been in the game that long.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I've been in, I got my first, like, national look in, like, 2009.
Right.
Hustle in the House, when that came on MTV.
Right.
You know, so it's been a while. It's been, like, 4 years. But at the same time, you know, I was 21 when I came in the game. You know what I'm saying? And I was ahead of a lot of people because I didn't have no cosign. Nobody brought me in the game. I ain't had no big singer or nobody on my hook.
Right.
That was me all the way through on my solo tip.
Right.
And I was talking about my neighborhood. And that's untraditional in like the era I came from.
Right.
You didn't get a lot of that. You was more so getting these, you know, new age type of angles these artists was taking, which is cool. Not to knock nothing from nobody, but I came in on some street shit, you know what I'm saying, from LA. And
which we hadn't heard in a while, like not on a national level like how you brought it in.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you know, we never heard it come outside of Dre.
Right, exactly.
It never happened like that outside of Dr. Dre.
Exactly.
It was always through Dre or through, you know, one of the people that created the
Dre
platform.
ushered that in, and unless Dre touched it, cats wasn't really fucking with it across the board.
Absolutely.
Now, I read that talk to them, you said that you wanted to get at least 10 stacks?
Yeah, I emailed them like, suck my dick, give me 10.
Did you do that?
And I replied to everybody. I made sure the whole company got it. And I was just like, you know, stop faking. You know, y'all want to interview us 10,000 or suck my dick. So, I was for sure that I had canceled my complex relationship forever.
Well, you know, at the end of the day, man, the beautiful thing about this game, I mean, it's real fake and it's real fucked up. But at the end of the day, if you're doing what you're supposed to do, even if that relationship is dead, they're going to fuck with you.
No question. And then, not to cut you off, but, you know.
Well, I keep cutting you off, so.
Nah, we talking, though.
All right.
But, you know, Karen had hit me and was just like, Nip, you know, I fuck with Mark. That's a good friend of mine. He's a cool dude. You know, he's not.
Talking about Mark Echo?
Yes,
yeah.
Mark Echo.
Yes.
And she was just like, you know, you should let me, you know, do some damage repair.
Right.
And I was like, well, I'm not finna retract my statement or none of that. She like, nah, just talk
10
about
stacks.
Yeah, you know, for sure. But I wasn't, she was just like, well, just talk. Like, you know, they're gonna give you a platform to express why you feel like you feel. Just talk about it. And that's what the interview was, you know. And in hindsight, I think that was the best move because a lot of people got to understand my philosophy, and then we mended a relationship, and I got to meet Mark, and he ended up being a real, genuine, solid individual. You
know, it's kind of interesting. We had Mark Echo in here about 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And he gave us a very in-depth interview, and what I found was like he's a real artist.
Absolutely.
Like he's a real the way if I could take my eyes and put them in his head, I would imagine he sees things creatively.
Absolutely.
And you know, and the complex beast that he's created is that beast.
Absolutely.
So you know, at the end of the day, you create this entity, but it doesn't always necessarily share your direct vision.
Yeah, you know that's kind of the conversation I had with Mark about Nipsey. Even beforehand, he was like doing different interviews and stuff for his book Unlabel Me.
Right.
And he was talking about Nipsey. He was using, you know, the whole Crenshaw project as examples. So I knew like when this situation happened and I'm working with Mark on like my Always Civil business stuff for his book, I was like, we can't have this. I'm working with Nipsey. I'm working with Mark, and Mark, you know, I know him and Mark would get along, and it just only made sense, and it worked out fine. Like Nipsey gave a great interview to his name was Angel to the writer, and maybe about 2-3 weeks later, we went up there later. He got to meet Angel, and it was good.
Right.
I mean, you know. Yeah, it was a good situation.
And it's like a fairy tale story now because now you come out like you wasn't the underdog, but then you got kind of placed in this underdog situation.
Yeah.
You fucking jump out the gate.
Yeah.
And put
the name is just so powerful.
Internet, so you tuned into the Combat Jack Show, the combatjackshow.com. Like I told y'all before, go to themidroll.com/survey/Jack. Fill out that survey, man. Fucks with our advertisers, and our advertisers will fucks with you. Yo, we got a special episode lined up for you today. Like I already told you when we went to the break, you know, that we got the West in the building.
Yeah.
We got the West in the building.
What up?
We got Nipsey Hussle in the building.
Yeah, what's happening, man? Thank y'all for having me.
Thank you for coming. And also, we got a monster. We got a monster in the building.
Big homie.
It's not Frankenstein. We're not talking the mummy or we got the monster in the building. We got Karen Civil in the building.
Hi.
What's up, Karen?
I'm good.
It's good to see you.
Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Yo, you don't stop.
I know you can't though.
You don't stop,
I know
Karen.
You can't. I learned from Diddy.
You just been going.
Can't stop, won't stop. Yeah.
And going and going and now like y'all are colliding.
Yeah.
This man right here, Nipsey.
Yeah.
They proclaimed you dead in August.
Yeah, they tried to.
They threw dirt on the coffin in August.
Yeah, they did. You know, I mean,
how'd you crawl out of that hole, man?
I mean, I think it just say something about like, you know, what type of era we in.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like they expect you to like, you know, show up every couple months, and that's cool for some artists, but I'm fighting a different battle. You know what I'm saying?
Now, internets, what I'm referring to is, you know, the famed kind of like spat that went on a couple of months ago with Nipsey and Complex. Complex did this, you know, they did their list, and I guess they were looking for things, and they looked at artists that weren't fulfilling their potential.
Yeah, exactly.
And you were listed, and you took umbrage to that, man.
I mean, actually, at first, you know, it was just some amongst my immediates that I pointed out.
Right.
And,
how'd you find out about that shit, man?
Man, like, you know, Twitter for sure.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It was adding me with the article.
You was like, hold up, what'd I do?
Yeah, like, huh? And then my fans were like, Nip, did you see this shit? They got you fucked up. Woo, woo. You know, but I read it, and then I didn't say nothing about it. You know, everybody's entitled to their opinion. But after we dropped the latest project, Crenshaw, Complex reached back out. And via email, like, we love to interview you. We've been day one supporters. We big fans. And I just was like,
that
you know.
shit was hilarious.
Yeah, man. You know, I took the opportunity to just talk some shit and point out some, like, what I consider to be some typical industry shit,
Right.
you know.
Now, hold up, though, before you decided to nobody.
Yeah, nobody. So
Nipsey by record. Well, when it's not the
MTV sponsored.
MTV sponsored.
Oh no,
you buy records.
He buys records,
Okay.
books, magazines.
Right.
We can't walk past anything without him like looking. He buys apps
Right.
and everything on his phone. But after we had the initial conversation, and I was like, okay, we're gonna re-talk about it the next day. I look on Instagram, and he already put it up. So I was like, all right, his mind is made up, and let's just go.
Right.
You know, you just gotta trust and believe what.
Now, were you
wanna
pissed
do.
off that he put it up without?
No. Like I just figured, you know, he wanted my opinion, and he was gonna do what he had to do, and he just, you know, it's just that's the kind of thing you want with the you want when you work with an artist
Right.
is he really believed in it. So the fact that he was really passionate about it made me passionate about it. And I'm like, fuck it, we gonna make this work.
All the time.
Now, I read this article or this interview with Jonah, and he was actually congratulating you. Like, he acknowledged the fact that you read his book, and he was actually inspired that you was inspired by what he wrote. Have you met him?
Man, what's crazy is that, you know, we working on something together now.
Okay.
You know, me and Jonah gonna collab on something.
It kind of would make sense that you guys would like do a book or something like that.
Yeah, we gonna actually, well, the concept that we gonna present is gonna be a extra chapter to the Contagious book, which is a #1 New York Times bestseller now.
Right.
And it's just gonna be.
So you about to be a New York Times?
I don't know if I can take
bestseller?
that credit. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna have
Yeah, take it.
Yeah,
What?
I mean,
you
we'll
charging
take it then.
$100 mixtapes. You might as well say fuck it, B.
Yeah, nah, but you know, the reality of it is that we're gonna do for sure. There's gonna be another chapter of
Right.
Contagious,
Right.
and it's gonna be about the Proud to Pay Crenshaw story and what that was, and it's gonna be maybe an epilogue or extra chapter.
Addendum on the whole nine, right?
Yeah, you know where he does it, because the book is just basically examples and then his commentary around these examples.
Right.
So he gonna use the story of what we did with the Crenshaw album and the $100 mixtape and the Proud to Pay concept. He gonna write his ideas and why this is contagious and why this was a conversation starter and why it became, a big story and got influential people's attention.
Right. Now, Nipsey, don't change on me, man. Like, you about to go into the white world right now, the
Nah,
literary
man.
world
Nah.
where they just all
I ain't
tighten the
gonna start
ass.
talking proper, man.
They tighten the ass. Don't do the Kanye, B.
You know, I can't. I gotta go back
Switch the
home,
voice
man.
up.
I gotta go back home. I say that a lot, man. Like, and no disrespect to nobody, I gotta go back home.
Of course. Now, one of the things also that I impressed you, man, that about you that impressed me was